Welcome back to Mr. Keller's class, and we're going to be working on OnShape, making parts that require multiple extrusions. So for our puzzle cube project, you may have a piece like this, a standard Z piece, and each puzzle cube is a 1/2 inch. So we're going to first make this part. We're going to see how it only requires one extrusion to make. And then we'll make another piece that's a little bit more advanced, and then a third piece. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's go to OnShape. So if you look here on OnShape, I'm in my folder, IED period 1 Keller J. And I'm going to create a new document called Puzzle Cube Keller J. Last name, first initial. So here is my part, or here's my screen with my origin planes. And I'm going to make this Z piece. So I'm going to make sure my documents, my units, workspace units are in inches. So here it is in inches, that's the default, so we're safe. I'm going to start a new sketch on the front plane. And I'm going to outline my Z piece. So I like always to have my parts connected at the origin in one corner. So I'm going to start there. Now this bottom edge is 1 inch because there's 2 cubes. So that's 1 inch. So I'm going to make a line that's 1 inch. Boom. Okay. Then this part goes up a 1/2 inch. Okay. Oh, and look, it didn't let me set the dimension, so I'll have to fix that later. I can type, or see it's got a box around it, so I can type in 0.5. Boom. And then I'm just going to finish drawing without dimensioning, and you'll see why shortly. There and there. Okay. All right, so now I've got my rough shape here. Okay. But the rest of this needs dimensions, so I can use my dimension tool up here to add dimensions. So I've got that. I need to get this distance to be 0.5. Then this long part on the top should be 1 inch. Click place, 1 inch. And then I zoom in, this part here should be a 1/2 inch, so 0.5. And this part here is automatically constrained, that's a 1/2 inch. Okay. But I do need this part here to also be a 1/2 inch, 0.5. Okay, so now you see all the lines are black, the interior is a little dark, so that means it's constrained completely. And I can finish my sketch. All right. So now I need to extrude this. So click extrude, select the sketch that I want to extrude, which is this one. And I want my depth to be a 1/2 inch. There we go. And check. So now there's my Z piece. You can see in the front there. Okay. And I'm going to make it red to match the color of this. So I go over here to my appearance panel, the 3 little circles on the right side, click on that. And then in the parts browser, select part 1 so it selects all the faces, and then double click part 1 and select the red. And see all the sides change, check. And I can close my appearance panel. And then finally, I want to change the name from Part Studio 1 to red. So come down here to the tab where it says Part Studio 1, and you can right click on it and rename and say red. Boom. So there's my red piece. Now I'm ready to build a new piece. So I click in the lower left corner, insert new element. It's this plus sign. And I'm going to create a new part studio. See, there's a new tab with a new part studio. I can start building a new part. All right, so my new part is going to be this guy. Okay, looks kind of different here, but if you notice, okay, this is just the Z part with a square added onto it. Okay, right there. So it's just got a cube added onto the front there. So I can build it the exact same way and then add a cube onto the front. So I'm going to do that with my original red over here. I'm just going to add a cube right onto the front. So click on Sketch. And now, instead of selecting one of these origin planes, I'm going to select the front face of my Z piece right here. And then I'm going to draw right there. Notice this cube is a square from this corner to the upper corner. So I'm going to do a little rectangle, snap it to that corner. See the red, the yellow square? That means it's connected to that corner. And I want it to connect to the upper corner here, another yellow square. Click, and notice the dimensions are constrained automatically to be a 1/2 inch each. So there's my part, and then I need to extrude that. I'm going to select that square, and I'm going to extrude it out a 1/2 inch, 1 cube's worth. And boom, there is my part. If I look at it from that side, you can see it sticking out. Okay. All right. Now, one more part we're going to build. This is going to be a new one. So I'm going to switch over here to my part studio. And I want to build this part. Now, depending on the way you look at it, you could set it like this. You could set it like that. So it's resting on the big part. I'm going to draw it like that so we can see. So how would I draw this? Well, a couple ways. You could, if you notice, it's a Z piece with the bottom part sticking out a little bit further. Or if you look from the top view, it looks like a square with something sticking off of it. So that's how I'm going to draw this one. So I'm going to start my new sketch, and I'm going to select the top view. And I'm going to draw my square. This is a 1 inch square. So I'm going to start here at the origin, see the yellow square, click, make that 1 inch, enter, 1 inch, enter. Okay, finish that and extrude that a 1/2 inch. So there is my part from the top, and then I just need to draw this rectangle that's sticking off of it. So I'm going to start a new sketch and click on the top of my base there. Now I'm going to just get zoomed in here a little bit. I'm going to draw a new rectangle starting from the midpoint here. Make sure it's attached to this midpoint here. Oops. No. There we go. Midpoint, and then stretch it off. And that part should be 1 inch wide there. So I'm going to type in 1, enter. And now I want to extrude that up a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to select the part that's over and make sure I'm not selecting new. I want to add. I want to add to this and here. And I want it to extrude a 1/2 inch. If I did new, it would make a brand new part 2. I don't want two parts on the same piece. I want it all to be one part. So I want it to add. And it's merging with part 1. So it's going to add to the already existing part 1. And boom. There is the part that's there. And I'm going to make this yellow. So select part 1, double click there, and I'm going to select, I like this yellow, and check. And I'm going to rename that part studio to yellow. And that is a little primer on how to make puzzle cube parts in OnShape or multiple extrusions. You can select different sides, draw a sketch on the side, and extrude it however much you need it to be.